Welcome to the JCPS MTSS Modes of Instruction and Student Practice Toolkit, with a focus on the high-yield practice repeated reading. I am Melissa Loxton, MTSS Engagement Resource Teacher with Zone 3.
I'm Bo Burkett, MTSS Engagement Resource Teacher with the high schools.
Please take a moment to type the case-sensitive bit.ly into your web browser. This will allow you access to all the links for the activities and resources offered throughout the presentation. Here you see components of multi-tiered systems of support, also known as MTSS. As you can see, the multiple levels of support which MTSS provides for all learners easily aligns with our district's 6 systems for students. MTSS addresses academic, social, emotional, and behavioral development. It focuses on overall school improvement that is sustainable. This presentation encompasses several components, but most notably teacher support through resources that can be used to accelerate student learning to be used during instruction, as well as teacher professional development. This concept map shows a visual of the departments in JCPS within MTSS. The MTSS Academic Department provides teachers with Tier 2 and Tier 3 intervention and academic support. This department is led by Donna Lawson. The MTSS Behavior Department, led by Sandra Hensel, supports schools in implementing school-wide behavior systems and frameworks, which includes PBIS and restorative practices. The goal of our department, the MTSS Engagement Department, is to increase student achievement by equipping teachers with high-yield pedagogical practices to maximize student engagement. The supervisor and point of contact for our department is Dr. Naomi Brahim. The point of contact for each department is located in the concept map. 6 MTSS toolkits were created to provide resources for Tier 1 instructional practices to increase student engagement and reduce student behaviors. Here are the 6 MTSS toolkits. The website is linked on the image. Let's start with the definition of modes of instruction and student practice. Teachers need to be well-versed and fluent in implementing various modes of instruction. This includes providing a variety of opportunities in which students can practice skills being introduced in the lesson. Once students have acquired a basic knowledge and skill within any lesson, there's a critical need to supply opportunities for successful practice. However, there are keys to effective use and delivery of practice. These practice strategies enhance learning and improve the student's prognosis for future performance. The success criteria for this high-yield practice is when the teacher applies repeated reading using intentional strategies for repetition to build reading fluency. Now let's look at the definition of this high-yield practice. Repeated reading involves repetition, which builds fluency. Teachers must use other strategies when considering how to use repetition in an authentic manner. In this session, we will learn the benefits of repeated reading and how it is a form of deliberate practice, which benefits student learning. As we do this, you will reflect on what key practices of repeated reading you can add in your instruction. Repeated reading has many benefits. By creating a habit of rereading, comprehension will improve. Repeated reading also builds fluency and automaticity. When implementing repeated reading, make sure you read the passage to the student first. It is important to keep the text brief, so when students reread, memory becomes a useful scaffold. The student will read a short passage 3 to 4 times while receiving corrective feedback. Another aspect of repeated reading is for students to goal set and self-monitor their progress. Repeated reading is a deliberate practice. Deliberate practice is a learning technique that involves extensive engagement in relevant practice activities, like repeated reading, to improve particular aspects of performance. Repeated reading is a deliberate practice since it refers to challenging repetition, often adjusted through feedback and conducted with a specific goal.
John Hattie, the creator of Visible Learning, researched over 250 influences related to student achievement. Through his research, Hattie was able to create a scale broken down into 4 areas: negative effects, represented by the red area, developmental effects, represented by the yellow area, typical teacher effects, represented by the orange area, and desired effects, represented by the blue area. What's interesting about Hattie's research is he discovered that almost any teaching strategy will work to some degree. So our question should not be what strategy will work, but what strategy will work best. The teaching strategies shown to work at the highest level and accelerate learning all fall within the blue area of Hattie's scale, and all have an effect size of greater than 0.40. Repeated reading and deliberate practice have effect sizes of 0.75 and 0.79 respectively. These effect sizes represent almost twice the growth a student would experience through typical teaching strategies. This short video explains the concept of repeated readings and details best practices when using this high-yield practice.
Repeated reading is the instructional practice of having students practice rereading the same text as a way to support the development of oral reading fluency. In repeated reading, students are repeatedly exposed to the same words, which should help students recognize them more efficiently. Goals are set to gradually increase their reading rate and accuracy. Once this is accomplished, students move on to more challenging text.
So this is a story we're going to use to practice your fluency. It's called Team Colors. In this story, Madison is trying to figure out the perfect gift to buy her or make or buy for her favorite coach, Miss Acosta. Okay? So you're going to read it 3 different times, and each time I'm going to time you and see how many words you get in a minute. And then afterwards we'll figure out how many words you got in a minute, and I'll coach you if you had any tricky words. And then we'll do it 3 times, and we're just looking for you to get a little bit more each time, because that shows more fluency. All right? When you are ready, you may begin.
Madison's favorite coach was Miss Acosta. Madison wanted to give Mr. Acosta a gift, but she didn't have any money. She used a toothpick.
All right, that was well done. So 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65. So that time you got 65 words in a minute, and you did a nice job fixing coach. Here at the end of this word, you said fingers. Check your ending there. What's that word?
Finger.
There you go. Great fixing. And right here, this was a tricky word. So,
Third.
oh, you fixed it. Because now do you understand she's making something?
Yeah.
Okay. And she's using the salt and the flour. This was a tricky word for you. So I noticed sometimes, because that was the first time you read it, you were working on figuring out some hard words. So this time I want you to see if you can put the words together a little bit faster, more like talking. She twirled her necklace on her finger. Just like that. You try it.
She twirled her necklace on her finger.
Oh, lovely. All right, my friend. Are you ready for a second go round? Okay, whenever you're ready, you may be. Great job. All right, well, you definitely got more words this time. 87, 88, 89. You got all the way up to 89 on that one. And your words were together more smoothly, just like talking. So right here is, you said said hold. She used a toothpick to make a hold through the middle. What would make sense there at the end?
Hold.
Great, fixing. And right here, you said, oh, you fixed it. You said then she black, and then you fixed baked. Great job making it make sense. And right here, Madison, you said spreaded. We actually don't need an ED on the end of this. We just say Madison spread. Do you see the ending?
Mm-hmm.
All right, my friend, did great. Are you ready for your third and last read? Okay, whenever you're ready, you may begin.
Madison's favorite coach was Miss Acosta. Madison wanted to give Miss Acosta a gift, but she didn't have any money. Madison sat with her head in her hands. She twirled her necklace on her finger. Newspapers.
Stop right there. All right, so that time you got 90 words. So a little bit faster. And you did a nice job making it smooth, working on your fluency.
Notice in the video the following occurred. The teacher provided a challenging text for the student to read. The student showed effortful repetition. The student received feedback and set goals in between each reading. And the student was able to stay focused throughout the entire process. These key points show that repeated reading is a deliberate practice. Take a moment to reflect on what key practices of repeated reading you can add in your instruction. In any classroom, the teacher should be aware of certain considerations regarding the environment or learning community that they are helping to create. Knowing the backgrounds or cultural norms for students within the classroom will lead to more engaging and effective instructional practice. This culturally responsive approach should be utilized to reach as many students as possible in the classroom. When using direct instruction in classrooms with ECE students, teachers should integrate scaffolded supports that increase student practice, along with metacognitive strategies that allow students to become more fluent in a specific skill so that they can use the skill correctly in the future problem solving. Opportunities for frequent practice are needed for ECE students to become fluent in a given skill. When considering project-based learning, teachers should align instructional strategies to students' learning needs. It is important to identify instructional approaches that will support students in understanding foundational knowledge related to learning outcomes. Discover what instructional approaches support students in connecting and contrasting ideas, as well as which ones support students in applying the learning outcomes to project expectations. Ensure there is time for independent practice, which is critical for retention. We have provided you with some resources that were used in this presentation. In order to help with implementing repeated reading as a deliberate practice in your classroom, we have provided you with the Plan, Do, Study, Act tool, which is linked on this slide. During an upcoming PLC, be sure to discuss ways to implement this high-yield practice in your instruction. Thank you for joining us to learn more about repeated reading as a deliberate practice. For more information about the MTSS toolkits and other high-yield practices, please visit our website.